Hi everyone, welcome to Epic Yard Farm. We had an amazing amount of rain last night. It wasn't very long, but we had a good downpour for a good hour or so with sideways rain, dust storm winds, but the garden is so happy this morning. And we're getting close to Labor Day weekend, which is our last, fertilizing schedule for the year. And so after the rain, I decided this morning to apply some fertilizer, and I'll add in the description what kind I use. We use Tony's Magic Mix all the time, and we had added some worm casting to it, and some citrus fertilizer too. So I want to give you a little tour of what our garden looks like right now. There's some crispy stuff and some really happy stuff, but overall I think it's not too bad for Arizona summer. One of the amazing plants that do so well here in Arizona that I recommend everybody to grow is the caper plant. And we have a local grower, Vilardi Gardens, that grows this from seed. We have lots of caper berries that we can harvest and pickle, but we still have many jars left from pickling in the last couple of years. So we just haven't done it this year. We just kind of let it go, and if the birds or other critters like to eat them, we share our caper berries with them. This is one apricot tree that we added this spring. This is an apple. You can see it's kind of chlorotic. Hopefully we can fix that with a little bit of fertilizer, but the heat and our salty water really kind of caused that kind of a bleaching effect on the leaves. Here's a couple peaches, and everybody have the similar issue in the summer. Their leaves turn this color, but you can see the new growth are gonna come in pretty green, so they'll be okay. These are a couple of blackberry plants that's doing pretty well. Our Violet de Bordeaux fig, one of my favorite figs, is doing well this year after some application of fertilizers. So I'm hoping by next year we'll be able to harvest some fruit. This very sad looking southern barlet pear is crispy up after the rain last night for some reason, but the scratch test shows the bark is still green underneath, so we'll hope that it recovers and send out some more new growth. This is our Black Sphinx date. It did not produce a crop of fruit this year, and we asked a local date farmer where we got the tree from, and he said it's common for them to skip a year sometimes, especially when they're young. So, and it's looking healthy, putting up lots of leaves and lots of pups. This is our barheat date. We also did not get a crop this year from it. You can see it's growing really well. It's gonna get really tall, really big. And I love how they look, but they have extremely pointy leaves with thorns, and when you're trimming and handling them, you have to be very careful. But I can't wait for next year. I hope it produces fruit next year, and I still have to figure out how to protect the dates from rat damage, because the chicken wire I put up, those cages, they still can wiggle through the chicken wire. I need something smaller with smaller holes and harder, and we just have to figure out how to catch the rats so we don't continue to fight for resources in here. We do share our harvest with wildlife. It is a wildlife habitat after all, but we would like to have some for ourselves too. In this space, we recently opened it up because the butterfly bush was really smothering the plants around it. So this bay leaf tree, we have unlimited supply of bay leaves. We don't need to purchase them from the store because this tree, if you have a garden, highly recommend you planting the bay leaf tree. This sweet bay leaf is so easy to grow here, and this poor thing was underneath the shade of our butterfly bush for a couple years, and it just really knocked the leaves back. So now that we have opened up the sky so it can get more sun, now it's coming back with lots of new growth. So this will be bushy and beautiful again. And also underneath here, we have a Chico Sapote, a baby one. And it got crisp up a little bit while we're out of town, and it didn't get watered regularly. So we're hoping getting a little sun, amend the soil a little bit more, and this will bounce back. And another tree that was under the shade of the butterfly bush for so long is this mandarin. I think it's a mandarin orange. There was no tag on it when we first moved in. The previous homeowner planted it. It was just a tiny bush, but it always produced like a little mandarin-like fruit with lots of seeds in it. But it was defoliating. It was staying under the shade, full shade of this butterfly bush. So once we open it up, it's now filling in like crazy. So maybe next year we'll get lots of fruit. And I might even experiment covering this up, netting it in a way that the bees can get into it, because a lot of the seedless citrus are by preventing the bees from cross-pollinating the citrus from another variety or in close proximity. So to produce those seedless citrus or tangerine or mandarin, they basically have to net the whole tree to keep the bees out. And I may experiment with that a little bit because these fruits are small, but they're so seedy. So that's another new experiment we're gonna do this coming spring. This is our 3-in-1 sweet cherry tree planting. We have the mini Lee, mini royal, and royal crimson. This one is not very happy, but it's still alive. We hope that after some winter dormancy, it will come back healthy and strong next year. We applied a little bit of fertilizer, gave it a little bit more water, but it could be I'm overwatering it. I'm not sure, but this one is about 2 years old, 3 years old now, and it went through the same struggle as this one in its first year, and it came back and was blooming this spring. So we're giving this one a chance to come back next year. If not, we'll just replant. You know, that's kind of our method, is we'll try. Sometimes it's the tree, it's not always you. Our method is pretty rough in the sense of we don't baby trees, full sun exposure, and the winter will stay and thrive. And that means we have a strong tree that we don't have to baby through the year, and that's kind of how we like it. So that is our style. One of the 4 southern pear trees that we put in this year is this Southern Queen, and you can see it's not doing too good. I'm pretty sure it's a goner, and I'll probably order it again next year and plant it elsewhere. And I may pull back on watering, because I noticed with these southern pears, they do much better with less frequency of water than I have been giving them. I've known to not give out enough water in the summer for my fruit trees, and this year I was trying something different. I was increasing the frequency of water. These southern pears don't seem to like it that much, so especially this Southern Queen. The Southern King, however, only about 10 feet apart from the Southern Queen, but it's doing much better and much happier here. And it gets about the same amount of water as the Southern Queen. So as you can see, I'm experimenting to see, you know, what works, but so far this one is a winner at the moment out of the 4 southern pears that we planted this year. I apologize, we have to go back in and cool off because the camera overheated. That is how hot it is out here. It's hard to film because it's just too hot overall for some of the camera equipment. But we're back out in the shade of this unknown green fig from Spain. It's grown from a cutting that was gifted to me by a fig collector that I bought some other cuttings from. So I wanted to show you some of our grafts that took this year and the one that took last year. So this graft is doing really good, see? This is the other graft. It also took. This one was a fail. It did not take, which is pretty good because I only grafted 3 and 2 were successful. This was a graft I did last year, and you can barely see the graft union anymore. Check it out. And it produced 3 figs. This is the raspberry latte, and I showed in photos a few weeks ago that the rats got in and ate all 3 figs, so I did not get to taste what everybody's telling me, absolutely delicious figs. So better luck next year. I have a lot of branches this year, so I should have a ton of figs forming and for harvest next year. So wish me luck. Another addition from this year is the white Pakistan. This one we purchased from Green Life, and it's selling it nicely in its new home. We hope it will start to gain some height. We want this to become a multi-purpose tree, fruit tree, and a shade tree for this open area to create some microclimate for potential of planting additional plants underneath it. This is our Waddell giant pear. It is loving this spot. We have it, I think we planted it in 2019 when we first moved in. And I harvested one. This second fruit is not quite ready yet. I'm testing it by, whoop, okay, I guess it is ready. See how it just come right off when you lift the fruit? That means it's ready to be brought inside and ripen over the counter or in a brown paper bag. Let me show you what it looks like. It's not a giant pear per se, but I also don't water our tree that much. Behind me is the Magnus pear. We harvested 1 pear from it about 2 or 3 years ago, and it was absolutely delicious. It's grown to be a good sized tree so far. It does struggle a little bit in the summer with crispy edges and whatnot, but it continued to thrive, and we're hoping to amend the soil around it a little more. But the biggest thing is we added all those other pear trees this year because we want to increase the pollination, because it's self-sterile, so it can't pollinate itself. I think the first year that it produced fruit is because it was blooming the same time our Waddell giant pear was blooming at the same time. So we got a chance to taste the fruit, and it was so good. So I'm hoping with the couple of pear trees we added in close proximity, will help increase our chances of getting fruit. Our other pear tree that's doing really well, purchased from Arizona Fruit Trees, and this was planted just before dormancy in the fall last year, and it produced flowers and it was trying to set fruit, but it still needs to grow roots, so it decided to abort the fruits. But this year it's taking on some new growth. We have quite a few fruiting spurs, so I think we'll get some more flowers next year or next spring. As you can see, our yard is not super, how do I say, designed in a way that is pretty. Our garden style allows us to be a little lazy when it's hot and when we're busy with work. I am hoping to clean up this edge of the walkway, trim back some stuff. There's Zoe. She's always out here with me when I'm inspecting the garden. Hi, puppy. Well, after a few more hours of cooling down the camera, well, it doesn't take hours to cool down the camera, but I kind of was trying to film this in between work and taking breaks. Now we're under the fairy grape dome. It's definitely taking on a little bit of crispiness and a little bit of thrift damage. Around this time of the year, it gets really hot, so the grape leaves get a lot of damage from the thrifts. So these are very common. And in the spring, we try to harvest some leaves before they get to this stage so we can use it for other cooking needs. But right now, they're all crispy and pretty damaged. But it does serve the purpose of shading and giving us a nice area to sit under, out of the sun. And again, this was built by upcycling a trampoline that was free on, I think it was Facebook Marketplace. Somebody posted a free trampoline frame and everything. And we picked it up, welded it together, added some fun cross beams, welded those on and painted it white, and it's perfect for this grape arbor. We put chairs on each side and some upcycled tree stumps for a table. It's a nice area to kind of relax and drink some coffee, eat snacks, lunch. We really enjoy this space. Well, I hope you enjoy our little update on our summer garden. It's not the most lush looking, not the most beautifully planted or organized, but it is our little getaway space in our backyard. We probably have a couple more months of 100-degree weather here in Tempe, Arizona. You know, I like to experiment, so a lot of things are not done conventionally, but we prefer gardening in a less labor-intensive way. Even though this giant space compared to our old garden, this is 10 times larger than our old garden in Epic Yard 1.0. It takes 10 times the amount of water, 10 times the amount of material and cost for material. But I have all these space to plant a lot more fruit trees, which I'm so happy about. And we're definitely giving trees a little more breathing space between each other compared to our old garden, where I used to plant things like 3 feet apart. Here, they're more closer to 5 to 6 feet apart, maybe 10 if there's space allowed. It's been fun learning a new microclimate to work with. It's definitely not as protected as our old garden, so we are not able to plant as much tropical trees here compared to our old place. But I'm learning to adapt and plant a lot more not super high chill, but pushing the limit of our chill hour here of some of the fruit trees. That needs 500 chill hours, but I'm finding them to be doing okay here. We'll see if they get productive. If not, I'll swap them out. You know, it's a pretty free-form kind of gardening method with us. So thanks for coming along. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend coming up. Plans to maybe feed your trees. Labor Day is coming up and we probably will get more rain. So happy gardening.